All right, this is where we stopped in the last lesson. Now what we're going to do is create some more variations of this poster. We're going to work with artboards and how to export those artboards. We're also going to talk a little bit about bringing other graphics. In this case, we're going to bring in an image of the ocean. What we're going to end up with here are these couple other versions I made like this. So this one still has the anchor. I'm going to show you how to create these little waves down here. That will teach us how to use some of the shape builder tools. We're going to get some different fonts in here, and then we're also going to work with images. As you can see, you can work with images in Illustrator as well. So let's get started here. Let's go ahead and start working on this poster. So what I want to do, just for the sake of speeding this up, let's go ahead and hit, I'm just going to copy all this, Command-C to copy, and I'm going to throw it up in my canvas. So this is, again, is like I showed you, we've got this whole big canvas to work with, and a lot of times I'll litter my artboard with stuff that I'm using as a reference. So this could have even been like an idea or a sample you got from somewhere else and you wanted to just paste it in here. And I'm going to move this guy out of the way that we ended up not using. And what I want to show you right now is the artboard tool. So right now, technically, we have this big old canvas, and then on the canvas, we can have multiple artboards. So this is an artboard that was 8.5 by 11. We set this up at the very beginning, hitting that preset button. So if I go to print this, only objects within this black, you see a black stroke there, anything within that will print on that 8.5 by 11. Everything beyond it will get cropped off. So in this case, let's say you wanted to see what that would look like. I can actually apply a mask to this. So this was locked, remember. I'm going to come over to Object, Unlock All, Command Option 2. So now I can select it. I'm going to hit Command-C to copy it. Click once to the side, Command-F to paste it in front. And I have two objects now. I'm just going to change color so you can see that. I just pasted it right in front, Command-F. If I hit Command-V, it's just going to throw it anywhere on the artboard that it feels like, but I want to put it right on top of that other one here. So now I've got two shapes. And now I'm going to shift-click on that blue anchor. So I've got the blue anchor and this blue box in front of it selected. And I'm going to hit Command-7 to create a mask. And what that did is it actually pasted that shape inside of the other mask. If you want to get rid of it, you can right-click and click Release Clipping Mask. Okay, but basically what I'm doing is I'm just cropping that. It's not a destructive crop though, so Command F to paste that shape I had in front. Shift click, Command 7. There we go. So I just trimmed it, and now it brought it in front of my text. So I'm gonna hit Command left bracket key to put it back behind that text. Okay, the whole reason for that was so you could see, okay, this is what it's gonna print like. But if you wanted to crop that off, you totally can using those shapes to mask. Okay, so let's get the artboard tool now. I'm going to hit Shift-O. It's the same as clicking right here on that artboard tool icon. And now I can click and drag. Let's see this little toggle up here in my options bar. That's going to decide whether the artwork comes with me or if it stays by itself. So right now it's turned on. So if I hold down the Alt key and now drag to the right, and if I hold down the Shift key, it should keep it, there we go, and perfectly, no matter where my mouse goes up and down, it keeps it in line with the other artboard. Now if I let go, all of that artwork came with me. So this is a great way to build something once and then create multiple variations. Once I get this where I want, I can hit the Escape key to commit that there, and now I've got two artboards. And if I look over here in my, right next to my Layers panel, I've got this Artboards window. So now I actually have two artboards, and I can rename them. If I hit Shift-O again to get my artboard tool, I'll click once on this artboard, and I can see the name of it here called Artboard 1. Well, I could call this Comp 1. And I could click on this one and call it Comp 2. And the benefit to doing that is later down the road when we go to export this now, it'll use those names as part of the file name when we export it, saving us a step and also making it easy for your clients to see which version you're talking about as you're working with them. So I'm going to hit the Escape key to get out of that, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and let's look at what we're going to do here. So I'm going to grab this guy, move it down a little bit, and I'm again cheating because I've got this right next to me. If you wanted to, if you're on a PC, you can hit your print screen button to copy my screen. You can pause this video right here. On a Mac, I'm going to hit Command Shift and the number 4, and you could click and drag and then let go. So go ahead and pause the video, take a picture of my colors if you want to. And then when you let go of that, what it's going to do is it's going to throw that screenshot to your desktop. So if I click on my desktop, I've got a picture of my screen. So now what you could do is drag that picture to your desktop within Illustrator. And granted, it's just a picture. This isn't editable, but now you can use that eyedropper tool, hit the letter I, and you can sample from that photo to get the exact same color if you like the colors I'm working with here. You totally don't have to do that, but I do that a lot. I'll look online at different Google images or whatever and find color schemes I like, bring in the photo, and then I can copy those colors. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and work on changing first this background color. And again, if you don't see this, if it's locked, hit Command Option 2 to unlock that. I'm going to get my eyedropper tool at the letter I, and now I can click on any color and it'll change that background color. I'm going to hit Command Z because what it did, it actually filled the color of that shape in front of me. So now with that selected, if I click on that again, you see what it did. It just filled that mask layer. So what do? Well, I am going to, there's a few ways we can work. In this case, I'm just going to right click and release clipping mask for now because I don't want to deal with working around it. I'm going to click that layer, hit Command I, or no, not Command I, but the letter I, click once on that color, and now I'm going to click on the anchor, hit the letter I, and click once on that colored anchor in my document over here to get that color match. All right, what's going on? It doesn't look quite the same. Let's click over here and see. Okay, so my anchor inside of that artwork is actually set at a 30% opacity. So if I click once on this anchor and I set it to 30%, there we go. Now it looks a lot closer. In fact, it's an exact match. All right, this anchor is also centered, so I'm going to click once on this anchor here, and I'm going to click on that Align to Artboard. Click on the horizontal align, and now it's centered. Okay, so the next thing I want to look at is, let's look at how we made these waves. What I did, hit the letter M to get your rectangle tool, click and draw a rectangle, and then hit the letter L to get your ellipse tool. And I'm just going to change my color, mostly just so it's easier to see what we're doing here. Oops. Now I'll change my color, and that's deselected. And I'm going to hover right over the line here until I get the little smart guy that says path. I'll hold down the Shift key, and then I'll click and drag, which will start a perfect circle. If I don't hold down the Shift key, you can see it skews it. Hold down the Shift key. Now hold down the Alt key, and instead of dragging from the top, it'll drag out from the center since I'm holding Shift and Alt. So I get a circle here, and now I let go with the mouse and then let go of my modifier keys. I'll hold down Command to change to my selection tool. Now I'll hold down Alt to get my duplicator copy arrow. I'll start to click, and then I'm going to hold down the Shift key. So now I've got my fingers on Command, Alt, Shift, and the mouse. That way it drags a perfect copy and keeps it in line. Once I get it here, I'm going to let go of the mouse first, and now I let go of all three of those modifier keys. Now that I've done that once, all I have to do is hit Command D to duplicate that transform, or to step it multiple times. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all of these at once. Just use your Command key, or click on your direct selection, or hit the letter V for that shortcut. Click and drag from outside of here and then highlight all of those. Now I'm going to hit Shift M, and that's the shortcut for my shape builder tool. And what that does is it actually builds shapes. We could actually talk a lot about this tool, but what I want you to do is just hold down the Alt key, and it's going to subtract those shapes. I could also click and drag through multiple, and I'm holding down the Alt key to subtract them. If I wanted to, I could just click on it without any modifier keys, without the Alt key, and it would add to that selection. It would actually add those together. So now that is one shape here, but I'm going to hit Command Z. I didn't want to do that. Hold down Alt, and now just click on these to cut this out. So now I've got that wave shape, and let's see, let's bring it over here to my document, about like that. And before I let go though, I'm just going to make sure there was nothing else I'm hiding. Okay, it was just that text. We'll bring this back up here, and that's good. And then let's work with the type a little bit. So we have a little bit of a font going on here. I'm using a font called Lato. So if I click on this one, so I can see Lato Thin. So if you want to download that for yourself, go ahead and search for Lato, and you'll find latofonts.com. You can download right here. Click on that button. It'll throw a download zip file to your download stack. When you unzip it, I can see all of these fonts. So just go ahead and install these fonts on a Mac. Just select all of them, hit Command O to open them. It'll open up with Font Book, hit Install Font, and you should be good to go. Now, it'll probably give me an error because, yeah, I've already got it installed, so it's going to tell me it's a duplicate font. Are you sure you want to do it? And I'm going to cancel if it didn't already. But that is what you would do to get that new font to keep up with us here. And let's jump back over into Illustrator. Okay, so I'm just going to click once on this font here. In fact, I don't even need to try and type in the new font name. I can just hit my eyedropper tool and sample this font here. Now, obviously, I'm cheating a little bit because I've made this once, but just so you know, you can sample more than just colors with the eyedropper tool. You can actually sample the exact font size and styling. It looks a little different because this font was typed in all caps. So what I'm going to do is come up to Type, Change Case, and I'll put it to lowercase. And now it automatically changed all my type to lowercase. Okay, now something else though, I've got these as separate line items. So what I'm going to do, first I'm going to move that out of the way. I'm going to grab my text here and I'll just bring it up here so I can work with it. So a smooth C I have as one line, so I'm going to get my type tool, highlight this, hit Command X to cut it. That cuts it to my clipboard. It copies it to my clipboard but also cuts it from the line. I'll click once down here and hit Command V to paste it. Okay, so there's that. And then the word never, so I'll highlight that, Command C to copy, or Command X to cut it out of there and copy it at the same time, Command V to paste. Now that's not the same size I want it to be, so I'm going to, here's another way to work. If this is selected and I click with the eyedropper tool, anything I click on will change that because that is still selected. I'm going to hit Command H to show that we had hidden those guides a while back. So you can see that that's still selected, so whatever I click on, it'll take either that color or that font style. But another way to work is with nothing selected, I can say, hey, apply this style. So I'll click once on the word never to anything I paste. So now if I hit Alt, you'll see my eyedropper tool turns from the fill eyedropper to the one that's already filled up. That's what that little black line, like it's filled up there. And I can deposit that look right onto that text. Now, it doesn't look quite the same. I need to change, the one thing it doesn't come over is the capitalization. So I'm going to come down to Type, Change Case, change to uppercase. There we go. All right, and then made A is the next word I'm going to do. So what I did when I made this, I actually just clicked once on that letter, on that text, hit the Alt key, and drag down a copy, and change it to made A. And I can just type it in here, triple click, made A, and then skillful sailor, same thing. Alt click, drag down, Command Shift right bracket to bring it all the way to the front to make sure it's in front of those blue waves if you haven't already. And then I'll type in skillful sailor or skilled sailor. I've seen it both ways. All right, Command click on that, get the letter I from my eyedropper tool and click once over here, and now it's the same size and color, but I want it to be all capped. So I'll go to Type, Change Case, uppercase. All right, now just a little bit of house cleaning to get this finished off here. I'm going to click on all of these, shift click to get multiple selections at once, and I want to align these to my artboard. Now my options bar has got so many things going on that the align bar got kind of hidden here, and if you don't see it here, you can also come up to Window, down to Align, and that'll actually pop open a separate alignment box here we can work with. So with all these selected, I'm going to click this tiny little drop down and make sure I've got my show options, and down here under Align to, I want to make sure it's aligning to the artboard. Okay, so I'm just going to click once on the horizontal sender. Now, because we're aligning to the artboard, it's going to use this as the reference. But let's say you've got a couple objects here and you wanted these to align. Let's say that left edge you wanted to align, but you didn't want to worry about the artboard itself. So you can shift click multiple objects and then take your finger off the shift button, click once on whichever object you want to be the one that it references. So let's say we want never to line up with the word, or with this sentence up top. So now I'll click, so I've got my selection tool, I don't have any fingers on the keyboard, and I'll click once there, and now you'll see it actually makes a thicker blue stroke around it. So that tells me this is my key object now. It's not the artboard. We're not aligning to the artboard, we're aligning to a key object. So now if I align the left edges here, it's going to nudge over the word never to line up there. Now you'll see that this font has a little bit of space built in. If I wanted it to truly line up perfectly, I could click once here, Command Shift O to create outlines. Remember that shortcut under Type, create outlines. Same thing here, Command Shift O to create outlines. And the benefit to this is now it doesn't see all the excess type settings from the font. It only sees this as shape. So I can shift click this one more time. Now click once more on that word, align the left edges, and now it's going to be a perfect alignment down that left side edge. So that's the benefit as far as working as a graphic image, but the downside now is that font is not editable if I needed to come back in and change it. So you can choose how you want to work there. I'm just going to shift click real quick on these, change my alignment to the artboard, and then I'm going to hit center align. Now they're all center align. Good to go there. I'm going to just do a couple more little things here just to nudge these in place. You can see my smart guide's telling me that I'm balanced here. I can also shift click all three of these and now come back to my align panel, and I can distribute the vertical center. So if I click on this, it was still selected the artboard, so I'm going to hit Command Z, change this to selection. So now it's referencing just these three as a separate selection, and I'll horizontally distribute that. So now it's perfectly balanced between the spaces here. All right, so let's go ahead, and we've got that made. Make sure you're saving if you haven't already. I'm just going to delete that sample. I'm going to hit Shift O to get my artboard tool. Hold down the Alt key and drag another copy over, and hit escape. Now in the next lesson, we're going to bring in these photos here and work with some photos.